So here is Sean Hannity. And are these two clips, Brendan, are they from the same show? It's sort of all over the place, but they are? Yeah.
Like
okay.
Brendan, the voice of God.
Here is Sean Hannity doing a monologue saying that well, listen to this. He is both trying to, he's trying to thread a needle here. Let's watch Sean Hannity.
Is currently stalled. Why? Because of a provision that would actually pay workers, in many instances, more money than they would otherwise make on their jobs if they go on unemployment. In other words, more money unemployed than if they were employed as they currently have been. Now, an idiotic idea. Every reasonable American understands this. We need to help our fellow Americans. How about we just keep them whole? Whatever you've been making, you're out of work through no fault of your own. We'll continue to make sure you make that amount of money, because that amount of money should pay your mortgage, your rent, your car payment, and anything else, your food, your groceries, your pharmacy. This is not good for the American economy. It's not fair to the American taxpayers who are all in. America is willing to help out their fellow Americans, to make them whole during this brief period of time. Those that deserve the help deserve help, period. You got Bolshevik Bernie Sanders. He's threatening to stop the whole bill if this language is removed, meaning more delays for those people that have been waiting and waiting and waiting and desperately deserve our help. Let's be clear here. Here's what the Democrats have been blocking. Let's see. They've been blocking a relief bill for American workers so PBS, NPR, the Kennedy Performing Arts Center can get a big payday, and Bolshevik Bernie can get his socialist wish list completed. $1,200 direct. This is important stuff. Direct payments to Americans. $367 billion for small business loans. $500 billion for distressed companies. Another $150 billion for hospitals and healthcare workers. They're all waiting. This could have and should have been passed a week ago. Guess what?
Well, now the amazing thing is he's got he's confused because he's got the talking point up there of expanded unemployment benefits, but he's against it because some people, not all people, some people will still not be made whole by the extra $600. But what Hannity doesn't understand about unemployment insurance apparently is that these are administered by the states. For the federal government to come in and do a calculation where the states would have to introduce a new algorithm where they are trying to determine at what percentage, how to get people up to, let's say, 100% of what their earnings was. They would have to get sort of an unknown number from the federal government. And in fact, it is the Republicans who want to basically block grant this. We're just giving $600 per person. For some people, that will bring people up to 95%, maybe, or 90% of what they were making, because there's caps on unemployment. Could be even less if you were making a lot of money. And for some people, you'll get 105% or 110%.
I also like how he's such a lunkhead that you can tell he's almost, when the other parts of the list come out, he has to remind himself that, you know, he's being a moderate in this segment. And it's like, oh no, now yes, I do support the cash transfers. I do support the hospitals. Right. I mean, I was about to say that was socialism and ridiculous, but no. Right. That's the good part. But then there's the Bolshevik Bernie part. And, you know, I don't know about the NPR, PBS stuff. I mean, more power to them. But like,
why shouldn't they get that in the same way that corporations are getting money?
100%. If you want to make a clean argument that there should be no funding,
broad-based,
literally, then make it two separate bills and make a people and workers small business bill and then make a separate bill. But
that's what should have happened in the first place.
That's exactly what should have happened.
They should have had this on two track, and
that's what I mean with the leverage. And that's why I tried to make the first proposal in my scenario as modest as possible, frankly, because just say, look, we've got somebody that everybody from Joe Manchin and Bernie is relatively happy with, and we're going to two-track this. But Hannity's an idiot. Also, Hannity said for weeks that this was like the winter flu.
Exactly. He was arguing with Fauci about it.
Yep.
Here is Hannity on with Steve Mnuchin. And again, this is, you know, so much of this is, I think, is just sort of like theater on some level to make it seem like they didn't get everything they wanted either. But in fact, they got everything they wanted. They got everything they wanted, and probably more than they could even ever contemplate. Here is Sean Hannity with Steve Mnuchin.
Get your groceries, get your medicines, whatever you need. Life stays normal for this interim period, again, through no fault of your own. But this idea that you're going to make more money unemployed, that angers my audience. It angers me, too. Why couldn't somebody just have to show a pay stub, and that's the money you're going to get?
Sean, you're right, and it angers me, too. But the problem is, the states have computer systems and unemployment that are 35 years old. And
well, that's exactly it, is that I'm sure that if they could have just said, well, you're going to get 99%. So you still have that 1% motivation to get back at work, even though you've been fired and laid off. Right. I mean, it's just absurd. But the fact of the matter is, Sean doesn't understand how unemployment works. And the idea that you would work out that calculation would be impossible. The idea you need to get money in people's hands right now. And so that $600 is just an easy way. Like, they came up with that compromise. It's going to be, like I say, if you're working at a McDonald's, you get laid off, you may end up making 105 to 107 to 110% of what you normally make.
Wow. What a bonanza. Anyways. I can imagine Steve Mnuchin saying a multi-trillion-dollar slush fund with no real oversight for me to personally essentially give away but McDonald's worker might make an extra $15. This is really hard. I might sink the whole thing.
We're going to have to take that back in taxes after the fact.
We're going to have to take that back in taxes after. And also, just it's so, I also want to really look, I'm already hearing some kind of, let's also see, even that 1,200 number, what do states all of a sudden start doing in terms of property taxes and mortgage taxes? And, and I don't know. It's theater. It's dual theater, because one, they have to pretend that somehow it's a bipartisan effort, and then two, they need to keep their audience. And as always, it's like, oh yeah, we just stole trillions of dollars of your money, but you should be really pissed at those horrible McDonald's workers who are making $10 more from not working. Ugh.
Keep your eyes on the prize, ladies and gentlemen. It's the poor people.
Right.
Here is Donald Trump, convinced that the reason why people are reacting poorly to him picking out a completely random date for when this is all over, just not founded in anything. He has some of the world's best epidemiologists standing behind him, and he's literally just making up dates that it would be nice. Everybody gets together for Easter. That's when the pandemic is over.
I told you yesterday, he said Imperial College, the new study called Tremendous Timeline.
Exactly. Here it is. Here is Donald Trump explaining what he suspects is behind this whole response to him picking a random date as to when the pandemic ends.
Mr. President, you tweeted earlier linking the closing of the country to your election success in November. Is this Easter timeline based on your political interests?
What do you mean by election success?
You tweeted, you said that the media wants the country to remain closed to hurt your odds of being reelected.
The media would like to see me do poorly in the election. I think
lawmakers and economists on both sides of the aisle have said that reopening the country by Easter is not a good idea. What is that plan based on?
Just so you understand. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. I think there are certain people that would like it not to open so quickly. I think there are certain people that would like it to do financially poorly because they think that would be very good as far as defeating me at the polls. And I don't know if that's so, but I do think it's so that there are people in your profession that would like that to happen. I think it's very clear. I think it's very clear that there are people in your profession that write fake news. You do. She does. There are people in your profession that write fake news. They would love to see me for whatever reason, because we've done one hell of a job. Nobody's done the job that we've done. And it's lucky that you have this group here right now for this problem, or you wouldn't even have a country left. Okay, go ahead.
If we didn't have that group, we wouldn't even have a country left. I mean, that was one of those moments where he sort of didn't do so well.
I was going to say, we were talking about the whole table manners earlier.
Right. But and again, I don't think that helps. There's a couple of networks now. I think NBC and CNN have decided we're no longer covering these things because he's just lying about stuff. But the idea, and I think that on some level, that is, I like the idea of deplatforming him. And he's putting out garbage, and he's not helping the situation. They don't need to be the communications that he's putting out is not necessarily helping any of the situation as far as I can tell. And so maybe they don't have to cover it live. They can cover clips of it.
Maybe. I mean, he's the president. I just think it's got to be aggressively counteracted, but also seen, I mean, it's so much BS, but he's still the president. We got to watch this, keep an eye on things, look, not everybody's day to day, obviously, but anyways, I mean, also it is interesting when he's flanked by Mnuchin and Pence. And to me, there's always like those visual messages. Like there's the Fauci press conferences, there's the Barr Pence Mnuchin press conferences.